Lobbyist or statesman? A Dvar Torah for Parashat Ki Tetze. In 1915, the British artist W.E. Hill published a painting called My Wife and My Mother-in-Law. The viewer could recognize an older woman or a younger one, and only after it's pointed out to him will he usually see both forms are present. After publication, this painting style became very popular, and today many paintings are of the same genre. It is well known that Parashat Ki Tetze is the parasha with the highest number of mitzvot in the Torah, according to Sefer Hachinuch, 74 mitzvot. When trying to understand what they have in common, laws of marriage, inheritance, labor, handrail, gifts to the poor, and many others, I thought it was a collection of mitzvot between a man and his fellow man. After coming to this conclusion, all that was left was to determine how the mitzvot that seemed not to fit were also somehow mitzvot ben adam לחברו. I could only see one part of the painting. For some mitzvot, this was relatively easy. Leprosy, the Midrash claims that it comes for Lashon Hara, classic. The sanctity of the camp, soldiers are human too, aren't they? Killing the Amalekites? Look, not every mitzvah between people will work for the benefit of everyone. Am I correct? At a certain point, however, things started to sound more and more forced. Don't stop a bull from eating while plowing and sending away the mother bird. We're all Jews, aren't we? And I had to abandon the initial thesis and start a new search. At this point, I noticed that most of the commandments I thought were between man and God in this week's parasha didn't have the characteristics I expected. For example, in many mitzvot ben adam lamakom found in other parashot, there's an emphasis on remembering Hashem, beginning with I am the Lord your God through the recitation of Shema and ending with remember the Shabbos day to keep it holy. On the other hand, how many people do you know that the ban of wearing shatnez reminds them of God's existence? Although it cannot be said that there is no remembrance, remembering Amalek is not remembering God. Even the mitzvah of tzitzit that appears in Parashat Shlach so that you will remember loses its remembering purpose in this week's parasha. And on the other side, mitzvot ben adam לחברו aren't what they usually are either. When I hear the words ben adam לחברו, I think of prohibitions of stealing, withholding wages from an employee, both which are mentioned in our parasha as well, or the commandment to give charity. How many of us think about don't leave the corpse in the tree, or a man shouldn't wear women's clothes? The tendency is to consider mitzvot between two people, myself and my friend, me and my wife, me and my worker, not general social mitzvot. This is where the thesis changed. The common denominator of the mitzvot in the parasha became social and national, like something that we do right before entering Israel. There are judicial, political, military systems to establish upon entering Israel, not to mention the general mitzvot that create other aspects of society such as family life, business-employer relations, proper treatment of animals, clothing, agriculture, the intricate political fabric required. Our parasha says that Judaism is also expressed in its politics. I'd like to end with a short story. When I was newly married, a few elections campaigns ago, a public figure requested that I come and serve as an interpreter between representatives of a political party and representatives of the English-speaking community in the neighborhood. After the politician explained his party's security platform to them, the community representative asked, well, what about your economic platform? The politician thought for a second and said, we don't have any. The citizen replied, if you don't have an economic, medical, media, foreign, domestic, all the rest of those platforms beyond your security discourse, you don't have the right to pretend to lead a country. There should be a fundamental difference between a lobbyist and a statesman. A lobbyist takes care of the needs of individuals who happen to make up a sector. A statesman is supposed to lead the entire policy of an entire country. Our series of parashot teach us that the people of Israel are supposed to be statesmen, not just lobbyists. Did you enjoy this video? If so, subscribe and share with a friend. Maybe they'll enjoy it too. I am Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.